Hello and good evening. I'm Don Arlith and welcome to Flash News. The first batch of 120,000 doses of the Astrazeneca vaccine has already arrived in Poland. Teachers will be the first to receive it, with registration starting on Monday.
Astrazeneca is the third vaccine approved by the European Medicines Agency. It gives a certain leeway for injections because no special restrictions regarding storage must be observed. Deliveries are smaller and less frequent than originally planned, but the manufacturer is expected to send about 1 million doses to Poland by the end of February. Larger supply will allow to vaccinate even 10 times faster. Teachers who are due to return to work in schools will be vaccinated first with the products that have just arrived in Poland. However, the opening of schools is still contingent on the development of the pandemic. We shall take what happens in a fortnight as a scenario that will play out depending on the situation. In the last 24 hours, there have been nearly 6,000 new infections and 283 deaths linked to the coronavirus.
The AstraZeneca vaccine has also been delivered to the Czech Republic, France and Spain. Meanwhile, Brussels is reporting potential further delays in the production of vaccines. This is catastrophic news for millions of EU citizens who are extremely tired of the pandemic.
Belgium. Restaurant owners took to the streets. They are furious because the authorities do not rule out that their businesses will still remain closed for a longer time. We cannot pay our rent, we are locked out with no idea when this will stop. More than 100 schools are closed in France. The daily number of infections is still around 20,000. The crisis calls for urgent and exceptional measures. Between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. the French cannot leave their houses and flats without a valid reason. The curfew is too hard for us. There is not enough time to get home from work without stress. Health services in Portugal have been paralyzed. The country's government has admitted everyone in Europe is counting on a vaccine. At the moment, regardless of what people think about vaccination, they want to get the jab. Alas, today the European Commission has not ruled out further delays in supply.
The number of people vaccinated worldwide against the coronavirus is already higher than the global number of those infected, according to the head of the World Health Organization, which is good news. However, he also warned that we are still a long way from full success and the end of the pandemic.
The coronavirus will not go away by itself. It will only go away if we eliminate it, the head of the World Health Organization said. He praised the increasing number of vaccinations, although he was concerned about the large disparities in its administration that still exist.
More than 3/4 of those vaccinations are in just 10 countries that account for almost 60% of global GDP. Almost 130 countries with 2.5 billion people are yet to administer a single dose. Some countries have already vaccinated large proportions of their population who are at lower risk of severe disease or death.
The visit by the head of EU diplomacy to Moscow has ended in a fiasco. Some are even talking about an embarrassment and of Russia flexing its muscles again. The Kremlin's behavior drew criticism from around the world, but words are not followed by actions. Here are the details.
Josep Borrell's visit to Moscow was supposed to be Europe's response to Alexei Navalny being put on trial. It's precisely now that Navalny is on trial that we must tell Russia what we think. We shall express our demand that Russia should comply with the principles on which Europe is based and which Russia, as a signatory of the Convention on Human Rights, is bound to accept. After the visit, it's clear that Russia has no intention of changing its decision on Navalny. In addition, the Kremlin has expelled European diplomats for their alleged participation in rallies to support Alexei Navalny. The US condemns the expulsion today of 3 European diplomats from Russia for observing the January protests. This arbitrary and unjustified act is Russia's latest departure from its international obligations. We stand in solidarity with Germany, Poland and Sweden. Criticism also comes from Europe. In the Navalny case, I condemn in the strongest possible terms everything that has happened, from the attempted poisoning to the conviction. I also condemn Russia's expulsion of German, Polish and Swedish diplomats. We condemn Alexei Navalny's imprisonment and now the expulsion of the diplomats from Germany, Poland and Sweden. We reserve the right to continue with the sanctions, particularly against individuals. The condemnation ends here because Angela Merkel has also added that for the time being Russia's actions have no effect on her position on Nord Stream 2.
At least 10 people have been injured in a powerful explosion in Bordeaux, France. 2 people have been declared missing. Preliminary findings indicate that gas was the cause of the explosion.
The explosion occurred near the center of Bordeaux. Around 50 firefighters are involved in the rescue operation. The explosion destroyed a building and damaged 2 neighboring buildings. Eyewitnesses say the sound of explosion was heard throughout the district. Some shop windows cracked. A historic decision by Pope Francis. The successor of St. Peter has appointed a woman as an Under-Secretary of Synod of Bishops. She will be the first woman in history to have voting rights at the Synod. The appointee is Sister Nathalie Becard, a Xaverian from France. A huge cloud of Saharan dust is traveling across Europe. In Spain, France, Switzerland and Germany, the sky has turned orange. Gusty winds from the northern Sahara have carried tiny grains of desert sand several kilometers above the Mediterranean Sea. The huge dust cloud is now headed towards northern Europe, powered by a vast low that stretches from the Iberian Peninsula to northwest Africa. Frost blizzards and snowdrifts. This is the kind of weather that these Turkish soldiers have to cope with. The recording was made on a road to a mountain military base. The soldiers were trying to get there in minus 30-degree frost. Extreme weather conditions in winter are a common occurrence in the southeastern and eastern provinces of Turkey.
Winter is back on the offensive. In the coming days and even weeks, several degrees below zero will be the norm. In southern Poland, the temperature will drop to as low as minus 23 degrees. And heavy snowfall of up to 40 centimeters is also forecast.
Harsh frost of minus 23 degrees Celsius in the north and heavy snowfall in the south. These are the forecasts for the next few days in Poland. Winter is bound to stay with us at least until Friday and will show its true and sometimes very dangerous face. Up to 40 centimeters of snow will fall in the Lublin and Podkarpacie regions, the government security center warns. There may be blackouts and traffic disturbances. This weather is certainly not kind to drivers. The driver of this lorry found out just how dangerous an icy pavement is. He got into a skid in Lower Silesia. He crashed against the barriers and fell into a river. A water pipe stopped the fall, which actually saved the driver's life. Fortunately for the driver, but it will leave around 2,000 local residents without water supply for at least 24 hours.
They should call it a Good News Street. Really, it's Clouds Hill Avenue in Bristol. But when the city was put on lockdown during the first wave of the pandemic, the residents of this small street also got infected with the desire to have children. And the time has come to bear fruit. The result now is a local baby boom.
The noise level in this street is about to rise significantly. As many as 5 of the local neighbors are expecting a baby. One has just given birth. The news came as a surprise to everyone.
My jaw hit the floor. Really? Yeah, I was like, I can't believe it. This little street.
The little street has become famous, all thanks to the fact that in times of the pandemic, hope has imperceptibly settled down here. Limited outdoor activities, more time spent indoors. A jigsaw puzzle fits perfectly into the situation that the pandemic has imposed on the world. This confirmed by sales statistics in the UK. One company has reported a sales increase of as much as 400%. Manufacturers claim that jigsaw puzzles are not about killing time. Putting puzzles together relaxes and takes your mind off your problems. That's exactly what people need most right now. This is not tinnitus. This is the wind playing the organ. This unusual instrument was installed on a hilltop in the village of Rogotin. It's a system of pipes of different lengths which produce a variety of sounds when the wind blows into them. The stronger the gusts, the louder the tones. But the residents are not worried about the noise. On the contrary, they hope that news of the organ will spread quickly, attracting tourists.
And that's all for now here on Flash News. Enjoy what's left of the weekend, and I will see you again tomorrow. Good night.